We are live here with the pitch day for the Thinker Growth Community, a business accelerator that empowers faith-based entrepreneurs to change the world. It's our belief that if you've got a product, service, or message that you believe is going to change the world, you got to get great at sharing that message. Part of that is pitching your business to other people to get them involved. We've got a couple entrepreneurs who are going to be joining us today. And if you want to join live in the discussion, do that live on YouTube, also live on LinkedIn. And you can also join the community at thinkergrowth.com. I'll put the link up there, thinkergrowth.com. If you are an entrepreneur and you'd like to get involved with peer support, accountability, sprints to move your product or service forward faster, or you think you can apply for that, ready to apply for the accelerator program, go ahead and join us at thinkergrowth.com. But first guest here that we're going to bring up live on the stage today is Ryan Gard. He is faculty member at the Thinker Growth Community. He has been around entrepreneurs for a long time, a consummate sales guy, and also the founder of Guardian Skincare, followed by another fantastic business that I've been proud to be a part of. And so Tasso Materos is going to be joining us here in just a little bit. But first, Ryan, welcome, sir, to Pitch Day with Thinker Growth Community. How you doing?
Good, Jason. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited.
Well, I'm excited that you're going to join us. You have been working on your business for some time. And so I'm just going to go ahead and open the floor to you. I'm going to drop off. The floor is yours. And then if you're joining us today and you want to ask questions, get involved, lend your support to any of our entrepreneurs who are pitching today, go ahead and join us at thinkergrowth.com. That QR code's up on the screen. Ryan, are you ready, buddy?
I think so.
Okay. I'll see you in just a little bit.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan. I am the founder of Guardian Skincare. I've been working, we are in our seed stage right now, and I've been working on this project for the better part of 2023. The reason we came up with Guardian Skincare in the first place, Guardian Skincare is a men's skincare line that I designed for a number of different reasons. I grew up in a family with skin conditions, so I was taught really early on how skincare was really important. And growing up, I was very aware of how important it was to moisturize and take care of my skin. And then over time, it paid off. It showed. I'm 43 years old now, and in many conversations I've had with my friends, other that I know, they've always wanted to know how I was able to uh, grow old, but not necessarily look old at the same time. So I've shared a lot of tips and products that I've used, and decided one day that it would probably be really fun and cool to design a skincare product for these guys that I typically am helping throughout my life. So I got around with some really great friends, started looking at different products and comparing, and as well as working with manufacturers to formulate a product that I can really get behind. And now what we're doing at this point is putting together the back end as well as the marketing. So to show you what we have so far, I'm going to pull up our website, and this is Guardian Skincare. Great skin for everyday heroes is our mantra for those guys who are out there literally prioritizing all of their loved ones before themselves. For those men who wake up at like 5, 6 in the morning, getting everything ready for their family, for their careers, this is a skincare line for you. So we'll be working with proven ingredients throughout the industry, really designing these for the average everyday Joe who's out there with their family getting together and who feels like they are ready to start taking care of themselves. Just need to find a product that's going to help them get that routine going. So we've designed this product for them. As you can see here, some of the products that we are working with. And if you want to get involved, feel free to go to guardmyskin.com. This is the website as I'm showing you now. And here at the bottom is a form in which you can fill out and indicate how you would like to get involved, name, email, and if you'd like to purchase products, invest, or even retail the product in your own store, more than happy to work with you and find a resolution or the products that you need. So really excited. Our first products are going to be a high-end moisturizer that we'll be releasing on a limited release through the holidays, and then moving on from there to more products down the line. So that's what we have so far. I'd love to take any questions or any feedback from the team with regards to my product and my brand. And so that's it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for presenting that, Ryan. Quick question for you. What can the community help you with at this stage of your business?
Well, I feel like I'm at the early beginning stages of my business. We're creating an infrastructure for logistics as well as a marketing arm as well, moving forward really quickly. And I've been really, um, what's the word? Fortunate to be working with the Thinker Growth community. I'm actually in the accelerator right now, so we're moving really quickly. I'm learning a lot really fast, and it's been great because I feel like the community in itself really just sets up the environment for progression as well as success. My number one thing here is getting around people who are in, I would say, the trenches of their entrepreneurs and really learning from those individuals. And Thinker Growth has been that for me so far.
Awesome. Well, we've got Naomi here as well, another faculty member here from the community. Before we get to our next presenter, Naomi, welcome to Pitch Day with the Thinker Growth community.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So you have an entrepreneurial journey with your that you're working on as well, and you're I don't know if you're prepared to pitch that today or not, but I'm curious from your perspective, how have you seen this entrepreneurial journey with Ryan?
I've seen it go from the stages of where it's like in the seed stages, the idea stages of like the different like ideas and him and coming and talking to the community with his ideas of what he wants to put in his product and his line, to going from those discussions to who to maybe do business with, to how to target a specific audience, and then going from those discussions to, okay, now that that's ready, now that he has a sample product, then going through the whole, okay, what's the holdup, what's the hang up, those things that kind of, those barriers that get in the way, you know, those kinds of things. And it's just been incredible to see that go from, and be able to see and be a part of that journey where he started out with those ideas, started out with that, the problem that he wanted to solve, and how he approached it, and being able to see all of us kind of rally together, and him like being able to see that confidence build in him and his ideas just grow and take off. It's been incredible. It's absolutely been amazing.
That's awesome. Well, we've also got another presenter here with us today. We're going to put him up on stage for just a moment. He'll present a business called Sherapy, which I've been proud to be a part of. Tasso, welcome to the stage here at the Thinker Growth Community Pitch Day at the beginning of October 2023. Any questions that you have for Ryan? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but any questions, Naomi or Tasso, do you have for Ryan, having watched his pitch?
Just what is, in terms of your the ingredients, and how are you in terms of the product development, and how have you approached that? I mean, what are some of the things that you were thinking about in terms of what's what really works, and sourcing the ingredients and manufacturers.
Of course. Thanks for that question. So my number one focus while putting together the ingredients and really deciding what I was going to put into this moisturizer was looking at it from the perspective of, say, a man with a family and feeling like they don't have a lot of time and definitely not enough interest to really put together a routine. I wanted to create something that was simple, really easy to use. And once they tried it, it felt great on their skin to the point where they felt like they could try it again. More often than not, you'll find lotions and moisturizers that feel a certain type of way that isn't necessarily comfortable for that individual. So I really focused on making the moisturizer that we're working with now very light, as well as soothing to the skin. And so that was something that I was really that was real what's the word, I'm sorry, that I had in mind moving forward. I really wanted to make this product for those guys who are out there. They wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, they're getting ready, they're getting the kids in the car, they're getting into meetings and things like that. And really, at the end of the day, they don't feel like they have time for this type of activity. When you make it as easy as you can and lower the barrier of entry to make it as accessible as possible, my hope here is that more men will pick it up. And not only that, like, educate themselves on how their skin should be treated individually.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Great.
Awesome. Well, we'll get back to more questions and answers in just a moment. But next, Tasso, how you feeling about ready to present Sherapy?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited. This is
awesome.
Great, and thanks for this opportunity.
All righty, man. Well, I'll get you up on stage here in just a second. And if you, again, have any questions, just go ahead and ask those in the chat. We'll get around to your questions and answers in just a little bit. And now, without further ado, Tasso, welcome and looking forward to your presentation.
Great. Thank you. Hi, everybody. And thanks for joining us today. I'm the COO of a startup. We're at pre-seed stage. Let me just get something up here on screen. Let me see here. There we go. So Sherapy is facilitated peer support, leveraging shared lived experiences. I last year had a discussion with a hockey college teammate of mine who went on to play pro, and he was a number of years ago inspired to create Sherapy, dealing with some of the his own experiences in life, suffering concussions and being diagnosed with anxiety, and also 5 years ago going through having a traumatic brain injury. And he found that in his recovery that one of the most helpful and beneficial things was talking to people. Certainly he got clinical support, but realized that a very important part of his own recovery was really just talking to people who have been through similar experiences, and thus Sherapy was born. As we know, we are in the middle of a loneliness epidemic, and we are suffering from a lack of real meaningful connections. We have every which way to connect through social media, but as we know, those relationships are somewhat veiled, superficial, and also can be negative to your mental health. So we know that science and studies show that lack of meaningful connections negatively impacts mental health and well-being. 1 in 2 Americans have reported experiencing loneliness, and this is what we're really addressing here. So what is Sherapy? Sherapy is a platform that helps foster healthy social connections where people feel seen, heard, and understood. It's you basically sign up to become a member, and you have access to weekly 1-hour virtual support gatherings. And these gatherings are facilitator led, not led by a therapist or other professional. It's we have a facilitator program to certify people to be able to kind of guide the groups where people come together and they talk about their lives. And we find that, there's the importance of connecting with others in ways that are deeper than you might have a connection to in social media, for instance. The Surgeon General had come out with a book, as well as they have come out with a study that shows that why social connection holds the key to better health, higher performance, and greater happiness. We are in the mental wellness space, and we are seeing quite a bit of growth in this space. People are out there suffering, and there are a number of companies coming in that are addressing this mental, the negative impacts of mental health on your mental health. It's a fairly sizable market, $60 billion TAM, and we believe 13 billion is a small percentage of which we expect to capture. There are companies out there that provide one-on-one licensed therapy. You've heard of most of these companies. We have some direct competitors: Peoplehood, Circle, Sharewell. They all are based on the same premise, shared lived experiences and the benefits of that, and connecting with other folks. We have a different approach. We're certainly more accessible because of price. We have developed a core meeting style that differentiates us. And certainly we're naming the category Sharepy. So we feel that's certainly marketable in a way that that'll certainly be positive for us. Our model is B2B to C and B2C. It's a subscription model, and we're looking at end of year 5 to be at 200,000 subscribers. Our go-to market is military and athletes who have unique needs. We also have decorated veterans working with us with relationships and experience in the space. Certainly, we have relationships with organizations in the world of athletics. So, we're gaining current traction right now with military nonprofits, pro sports leagues, college athletic departments, and corporate, and also other corporate partnerships. Our team, we're pre-seed. We have yet to launch. We've been running beta groups that have been very successful. And our team is quite small at this stage, but we comprise of senior execs, entrepreneurs, certainly decorated veterans, and former pro and college athletes. Thank you. We're currently getting close to closing a pre-seed round, and that's going to allow us to really service some of these organizations that we're expect to be on board with within the next month or two. And that's where we're at.
Awesome. Well, thanks for presenting that, Tasso. We've got probably a couple of questions here. I'm going to go ahead and put Naomi and Ryan back up on stage. They've been listening in, and I've had an opportunity to work with Sharepy in lead groups and help formulate some of the back end of that and operations for it. So I'm intimately aware of Sharepy. I'm curious, Tasso, where does Sharepy see the most traction right now? What type of individual really gets the most out of Sharepy? in your experience?
Yeah, there's certainly what our focus is really on people going through any kind of life stage transition. So if you think of military veterans, if you think of pro and collegiate athletes, if you think of people who just divorced or people who are new moms, that is a life transition where if you get into a group with people who are going through that and have been through that, there's really a lot to learn. There's studies show how much we learn from hearing people's stories versus someone, giving a lecture or, we have every way to go out and pull information and self-study. But really what's most impactful and beneficial is when people get together and share their stories. And so if you think of someone going through a terrible divorce, perhaps, and sitting around talking to other people, one of the reasons I was inspired to join Scott, the founder, I had actually been going to a church group called Authentic Manhood on Saturday mornings from 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. And it really was a biblically based program that explored what it means to be a man in today's society. And I went in kicking and screaming. My wife wanted me to go. And I said, I'm not going to go and just stand up and talk to other people about my week or my problems or whatever. And immediately when I did go, I found that I made a real connection with a lot of the men in the group. And I felt like a lot of my experiences were validated. And I really felt good about going to this group Saturday mornings. And that's kind of, that wasn't necessarily life transition. That was just life. And I was coming out of these meetings and feeling really good and was looking forward to going to the next week. And in fact, my wife at the time would say that, she liked me better when I went to these groups. So, so I've seen firsthand and have experience in being in these kinds of groups, and they're really good. And there's organizations like Alcoholics Anonymous has been around for, I guess, over 100 years. And albeit that's centered around addiction, there are people that go to those meetings and say it's the best thing happening in their lives. And it's a very similar format in terms of how our meeting style is, where people just get together and share their day, their week, their month, and you see how like the connections and the beneficial sort of effects of doing that. And a lot of people swear by it and can't miss those groups. And so this is a very similar experience.
Interesting. Naomi, Ryan, any questions for Tasso?
What kind of groups have you done so far?
So we've been running our core style meetings. We've been doing kind of private betas, and people have come through. We currently have our site is really in transition. It's about to relaunch soon, but we've got a temp site up. And there have been some people who've come to our site that have signed up in the range of people. It has been great. I mean, young recent college graduates to older retired folks, men and women, cultural backgrounds, somewhat diverse. And we've been finding that with every meeting, we get more and more people joining these meetings. We also have a few decorated veterans who are working with us, and they have been running these types of groups with other military organizations, and so have a lot of experience working. And there's specific needs for the military as well as the athletes, and they, those are the folks that are facilitating, those groups. But yeah,
that's awesome.
Awesome, thanks.
It's incredible.
Tasa, where do you see Sherapy going or ending up by this time next year?
Well, we have certain, what we're already currently engaged with and expect to have a number of fairly large organizations on as clients. We're currently working with a pro sports league. We've been working on that for many months. So we're not really going aggressive on the consumer side. We're right now, we found that we're getting a lot of traction, a lot of interest. We had a meeting with a college the other day that was actually 2 or 3 meetings in, and they've identified an incredible need for what we're doing, especially given the pandemic. Some of these students, and what they say is that they need to get back to the art of living. They've been disconnected, and this is, they see as not a replacement for therapy, but on the sort of continuum of care, where they are able to develop relationships and connect with other peers who may be going through the same things. So right now we're really focused on B2B. We have certain projections in mind in terms of dealing with some of these professional sports leagues. The sales cycle for colleges is quite lengthy. But we look to be in a pretty good place after year one.
Very cool.
We've got a question out there for Ryan. The ingredients that are in your product, what are the ingredients, and how did you choose them, or why did you choose them?
So the main active ingredients in our in the product that people would know would be hyaluronic acid, as you probably have seen throughout media these days. And one that I'm pretty excited about is retinaldehyde. Retinaldehyde is a derivative from retinol. If you're familiar with retinol, I think one thing about retinol that's been kind of tricky is that it makes your skin very sensitive to light, to sunlight. So it's often recommended that retinol be used in your routine at night. So when you're putting on eye cream or something like that at night, retinol is a really great ingredient for that. So retinaldehyde is a derivative of retinol. And the cool thing about retinaldehyde is it's a little more, I would say, smoother than retinaldehyde. It makes it a lot more easier to apply a moisturizer on your face at either in the morning or the night. And I'm the type of person that likes to moisturize like after I shower in the morning and maybe once at night, but not as often as I do in the morning. So this is something that I feel like is really easy to use, especially if your routine is more focused on evening activities rather than morning activities and vice versa.
That's
Awesome.
incredible. I also have a question, Ryan. How did you come up with the name for your skincare line?
Okay, so this is a kind of a funny story. My last name is Garde, Garde, like the French word guard.
Mhm.
So if you were to know that, you would think that I came up with Guardian Skincare based off of my name, and that's actually not true. The truth is, I got bored one day and jumped on AI and asked the question, what's a good name for a skincare line? And it came up with maybe 10 different words. Words like, I don't know, recovery or something like that. It was just like a lot of really fun business names, but Guardian stuck with me. And I really feel like, especially now in thinking about that name choice, it really kind of describes like the people that we're targeting, people who like are, providers and protectors and things like that. And I was like, you know what, that kind of works well. And so we stuck with Guardian Skincare. And then when I found guardmyskin.com available out there to use on my website, I was like, okay, well, I can't really ignore this much more. And so we went with it.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
Question I thought out there for both of you, I think, what's been the most difficult part of the startup journey so far?
Well, this has been it's not my first rodeo, so I'm familiar with a lot of the what to expect. When you're a startup, you always want things to happen tomorrow, and you realize fast that they don't happen tomorrow. So it's having resiliency and being able to get through. I mean, we have to at some point start paying ourselves. We certainly, as a startup, unless you're self-financing, we are raising money. We're at the pre-seed stage. We've been very successful. We have a little further to go to close out our first round, but we're going to get there. And no one else is in as much as a rush as you are. So that's one thing. The other thing is, it's when being able to make the hard decisions about, if something's not working, then, but it's really personal to you. You got to find a way to let it go and pivot and adapt and grow in ways that maybe you didn't have the vision for at the beginning. So just those couple of things. But I mean, even as a startup in which we expect to scale tremendously, we know there's an opportunity to do so. We're always having to raise money. And so, we're not just raising pre-seed. Once we close that, we're going to show a little more traction. We've got to start running for the next round, and then the round after that. So it's never ending in terms of fundraising, and that's a very important part in figuring out how to get some meetings and opportunities to pitch your idea.
Awesome, thanks.
And I think for me, a couple of things. First of all, was like changing my mindset from working in a company and I guess trading my time and skill set for money to creating something that not only would help other people, but for the most part, really kind of changed the way I thought about how business was run. And to Tasso's point, you want things to happen right away. You want things yesterday and things like that. But sometimes that's not the case. And there are also times as well, especially if you're undertaking this endeavor at at a full-time level. I wouldn't recommend it, but that's kind of what I'm doing right now. So you start to think about where things are, or you want things to happen right away so you can start seeing those benefits, and just having that patience and having that mindset that things will happen when they do, and just to keep a really strong support circle around you is really important.
Awesome. Any other questions that are hanging out there? All right. Well, we are coming up here at the end of our time here. We do have a presenter. She unfortunately couldn't make it today, so she canceled at the last minute. But this is Pitch Day, and it's going to happen, I think, twice a month. Is what we're targeting right now, that entrepreneurs can announce their startups to the world as an offer to get support, get accountability, get customers, get investors. Because we believe in the Thinker Growth community that if you have a product, service, or message that can change the world, you got to get good at sharing it. And so pitching your product, service, or message generates awareness and then also makes you better at communicating that. This is Tasso Materos from Sherapy and Ryan Gard from Guardian Skincare. Thanks so much for your presentations today. And then Naomi, one of our faculty members in the growth community, thank you for joining us as well. Any final words of encouragement that any of you'd like to give to entrepreneurs who are waiting in the wings, wondering, hey, should I pitch my business? What are your thoughts, guys?
I think if you have an idea for a business, just go for it. I think one of the things that I wish I had done was start sooner. And I've talked to many entrepreneurs that say if there was anything that they could have done to change anything, it would have been start sooner.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. For most of my adult life, but for 3 years, I've been an entrepreneur, and there's good days and bad days. At the end of the day, what it affords me is a certain amount of freedom and creativity to, do what and change your business and come up with ideas, and it's probably the most rewarding thing for me. And I've thoroughly enjoyed it. So it's a little scary. I mean, sometimes some things happen. I had started a company in New York City, and things were going well from the get-go, and 9/11 happened. And there are things beyond your control that you gotta figure out how to deal with. I had just scaled up pretty quickly, and that day came, and things changed. But you know what? I crawled out of that place, and things worked out. But you need that resiliency. But at the end of the day, as Ryan said, go for it.
I think also when entrepreneurs usually have a problem they want to solve, and along with what Ryan was saying, people, their regret is not starting sooner. If there's a problem you want to solve, there's someone out there waiting for the solution that you have, and they're waiting. You are the answer to some people, to their prayers. And I know that sounds like that almost maybe that sounds too presumptuous, but you literally have no idea how much sooner you'll be able to be an answer that somebody is looking for if you don't start. Just have the courage to start and go for it.
Well, if this comment from TC Bell, who's watching live on YouTube right now, is any indication, love this. It does turn out. But when you put yourself out there, like you talked about, I love that part, Naomi, where someone's waiting for you to take the lead. And so if you think you should, then maybe you should. Do you want to give us a quick? I don't want to put you on the spot, Naomi, but I know you're working on you're batting around an idea right now for a business. Are you prepared to give us just a little preview?
Sure. I am very much. A few years ago, I started a health journey from the inside out, and went from not thinking I was even supposed to be a mom to suddenly finding myself with a deployed spouse in a new place, no friends or family nearby, setting up a home and needing to be there for my two very young children, and wanting to be the healthiest version of myself and be able to handle it all. And I thrived. I was able to obtain health from the inside out, working on my mental health, and then also being able to lose almost half my body weight in the process, and actually be the mom and have the energy that I needed to have in order to show up for them. And I wouldn't have been able to have that if I hadn't first started with myself. So I want to help other people obtain mental health and get to where they want to be mentally, and see the physical results, see the physical, what is it, the collateral, like the side benefits, I guess. So I want to be like a personal one-on-one coach, like a life coach, except the reason I asked the question for Ryan is, how did you come up with your name? Because I don't feel like life coach is necessarily the right name for it. And I want to work on a one-on-one basis. I want to see people succeed. I want to see people thrive. I want to see people become something that they never thought they ever could be, because that's what I was able to do. And so that's where I'm at right now, is I'm trying to figure out, 1, the name, 2, how to market myself, and 3, what my niche would be for that, and how to get from where I am, and the experiences that I have, and how I got to where I am, and how to help other people in where they're trying to get as well. So that's kind of where I'm very early stages. I'm doing a lot of research on people and leadership and coaching, and book after book after book after book. I have a whole list that I'm going through on Audible right now.
Awesome. Well, thanks for giving us that preview. It sounds like maybe you should join Cherokee.
That's not a bad idea.
Yes.
All right. Well, we're coming up on the end of our time here. If you have a product, service, or message that you'd like to pitch to the world, or you just like support in developing that, head to thinkergrowth.com. The QR code's on the screen. We are a business accelerator that enables faith-based entrepreneurs to change the world. This has been Pitch Day, the inaugural Pitch Day. We're looking forward to somebody else coming up here. And also, I do want to get to TC here. He, just for everybody here who's joining us, he's courageous enough to say that he pitched a concept yesterday and it crashed, burned up. And so we're looking forward to seeing TC probably in the future. TC, you can tell us all about that experience and how it made you better and what you learned from it. But to all of our presenters, thanks so much for joining us, and all of our viewers and listeners, head to thinkergrowth.com. We have the workshop. It happens on Tuesdays. It is business coaching for entrepreneurs. We'll answer your questions, and we also have sprints where you can work over the course of 90 days towards some defined goals. Make get twice results in half the time as doing it yourself, and then you can also apply for the accelerator program, which is upcoming. Thanks so much for everybody who's joining us, and we'll see you next time.